Okay, that's a pretty impressive welcome. I'm liking this.
Me too. I have to tell you, it's so strange getting cheered. Like, I don't know what to do.
You're like,
on our show, I get booed all the time. I'm so much more
that's right.
comfortable with that.
So you are not as horrible in real life as your
Alter ego.
Yes.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. But my darker side can come out at any time. So, you got to watch yourself, Donna. Just
all right, I'm going to be on my best behavior now, man. Like, please don't. What you run a massive, the biggest wrestling organization on the planet. What do you know now that you wish you could have told your younger self?
I think to believe in myself more, to be confident, and to know my own self-worth. That's the advice that I try to give my daughters as well. I have 3 daughters, ages 9, 7, and 5. And, I think that women in general, and probably men too, we go through life with a lot of insecurity, and that's where peer pressure falls in and all of that good stuff. So I think that advice I would want to give my younger self is just believe in yourself.
Is it hard when you're a woman? Is it tougher to be, well, I guess you're a woman, so how would you know what the other side is like? But what is it like running an organization where you're basically surrounded by men all the time?
Well, I've got to tell you, Donna, I just love the odds.
Maybe I should go work with you.
I've never been intimidated by being in a room full of men. That's just my personality. But, absolutely, I love having more women in the room. And I love seeing that with our television audience. Mm-hmm. That's now almost 40% women. And, of course, corporately as well. We're looking to grow women in the boardroom as well as all of our executives. And then, of course, with the Divas Revolution, which is something we're doing with our talent on our show. It's a big movement, and I'm really proud of it.
Why do women love wrestling?
I think that women love the storylines. When there are really great characters, protagonists and antagonists, and you tell an incredible story, mm-hmm. I think that's what women relate to most. I think men can definitely enjoy the story, but men tend to be more visceral. They really like the action. So it's the combination that makes magic when it works.
And you guys, I'm sure all know that Jon Stewart is a rabid, insane wrestling fan, which I think we all love. I mean, who wouldn't love that? Who is a celebrity that you've met that told you that they love it and you're like, what?
Well, first I just have to say, Jon Stewart, right, host of The Daily Show for 20 years, and what's the first thing he does is he hosts SummerSlam, which is our biggest pay-per-view this summer, and it was awesome. And then not only that, but he gets involved in a match, and, he wound up doing something that in the parlance of our business is called turning heel, which, he did something against the good guy, against the protagonist.
Yes, and
it was
apparently
awesome.
it was a huge controversy on
social
media, right?
I mean, it was. But in terms of a celebrity that I was surprised at, I can't really say that there was one, because all of my life I've seen different celebrities and musicians, entertainers, everybody that really loves and enjoys WWE, athletes, professional athletes, the world over. So it's really not a surprise to me when we have stars like Bob Barker or Betty White or Jeremy Piven or, just any of these people who come in and want to be a part of our show and just have fun. But let me tell you something, our audience can definitely tell when someone's having fun and when they aren't. And when they aren't, they're just not as engaged.
Do you mean like when they're faking it or kind of
well,
going
I
through the motions?
think when it's not their passion necessarily. If it's an appearance for an appearance sake versus something that they really love and want to do.
Yeah, I mean, Jon Stewart, that's been around. He's been a fan forever.
And he was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this could be, I think he might have a future as a wrestler. I think he could.
As a personality, for sure.
Sorry, Jon.
Wrestling, maybe.
Sorry.
We'll see. But he's quite a dancer. Well, did you see the Just Keep Dancing, the hashtag that we did for Ellen to raise awareness for pediatric cancer?
I did not.
Yes, he did a dancing video, and his son actually came in and sort of did the same thing that Jon Stewart had done to John Cena at SummerSlam and took him out, and then his son finished the dance. It was great.
Let's talk about your work with cancer, because that's pretty impressive.
Well, WWE is all about giving back. I mean, our mission is to put smiles on people's faces, whether we do that through our entertainment programming or by giving back to the community. You can see I'm wearing the Susan G. Komen sticker here to support breast cancer awareness. But really, my personal mission is a fund I created called Connor's Cure, and this is a bracelet for it that my husband and I created, and that's because of a little boy named Connor Mahalik, who just basically stole our hearts and stole all of the WWE universe. That's what we call all of our fans, as well as the superstars and divas, as well as all of our employees. We are one big family, and we all fell in love with this little boy, and unfortunately, he lost his fight. And we decided we were going to do something about it, and we started this fund, and we've raised over $700,000 so far.
That's awesome.
And it's our goal to find a cure, because, no child should be affected by that disease.
Yeah.
And I will just say, WWE superstars and divas every single day meet with kids and put smiles on people's faces. And there is nothing more powerful than that. If the child is sick, to help them forget that they're sick for 2 to 3 hours of being at a show, or help their parents or their family, forget that they're sick, and to just have a good time and to see those smiles on their faces, there is just truly nothing more rewarding than that. And it doesn't have to be a sick child either. It's anybody. It's seeing you guys when we walk in, as surprising as it is for me to be cheered. It's awesome to see you light up and have a good time. And it's rare that you find somebody who doesn't have a story about WWE or professional wrestling in some capacity, whether that's, they ran into someone at an airport, or their uncle and their aunt used to watch, or they watch themselves. And when they tell these stories, the look on their face is always a smile.
I do have to say, the reach of wrestling is insane. I was like, even on social, it's like.
So can I be chief brand officer for a second?
Please.
Because I have some stats that are pretty crazy recently, and it's all thanks to our fans. WWE's in over 175 countries and 25 different languages. The really amazing stats that we have: we are ranked the number 6th most social brand in the world by Social Business Index. And in the month of August, we were named the most viewed channel of all in the entire world on YouTube for the month of August.
I mean, that's really amazing, yeah.
Right? Crazy stat. We can't wait for the September numbers to come out, but I'm hanging on to August because we won.
Wait, when did SummerSlam? That was in September, right? SummerSlam?
No, August.
August, okay.
SummerSlam, yeah.
So I remember going past Barclays, and I'm like, what is going on here? This is crazy town.
Well, we sold out 3 nights in a row because NXT, which was our developmental brand, it has now really become our 3rd brand. And that's, in the United States, it's exclusively on the WWE Network. And again, just the power of our fan base and social media. This content, this live content that's available only in the US, only on our digital network, trends worldwide every time we have a live special.
That's amazing. Amazing. And I want to ask you, this is a topic that I find so interesting. The backlash, well, not the backlash, that's the wrong word, but Ronda Rousey has been so vocal about people criticizing her body type. Serena Williams got flack for not being feminine enough. Apparently, you have to starve yourself to also be a tennis champion. What is your stance on that? I mean, you guys have divas, so do they get flack for not being a size 0?
Well, I think that health and fitness is really important, but, to me, the world is changing, and I think all body types are being accepted, and to be a professional athlete, which, even though WWE content is scripted and the outcomes are predetermined, you have to be an incredible athlete.
Yeah.
It is an athletic performance, if you will. And it's 52 weeks a year. It's live. There's no off season, no reruns. So you have to be in excellent physical condition. You can't starve yourself. You won't make it. Your body will break down. I think that professional athletes too, like you named Ronda Rousey and Venus or Serena Williams, their bodies are very important to their performance. They have to train incredibly hard to be able to perform at the elite level that they perform at every single time they compete. I think muscles are sexy, personally. I think everybody has their own taste in terms of their partners or companions, but I think that, it's great to have muscle tone and, and be proud of who you are and feel good and feel strong, in every way you possibly can.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I love that interview that Rhonda just did where she said if anyone else called her fat, she would punch him in the face. I'm
Yes.
like, you go do that. That's right.
That's right.
What?
Rhonda's awesome, by the way.
I know.
Yes,
Trust
I'm
me,
a huge fan of Rhonda and everything she stands for. I do have to say I hold the record for the longest time of any woman that's ever been in the ring with Ronda Rousey.
And did you guys go out for drinks after?
What's that?
Did you guys go out for drinks after or no?
Yeah, no. I don't think she drinks. She's professional athlete.
I'm guessing, yeah, you're right. You're right. At that level, you probably can't.
Yeah, but it was so much fun. For those of you who don't know, Rhonda and I were involved in a storyline at WrestleMania with The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and I had slapped him pretty good, I must say, because he had said something very offensive to me that I wouldn't stand for. Maybe I deserved it a little bit. But then he said, of course, he wasn't going to hit a woman, but he knew someone who would. And all 76,000 people in Levi's Stadium started chanting, "Rhonda's gonna kill you." And of course, I think she let me off easy. She taught me a lesson, but it was a lot of fun.
That's
But I
awesome.
was in the ring, technically, the longest.
I mean, it was like 43
And I'm hanging on to
seconds the
that.
last time, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. Do your daughters fully respect you, or are you like the pushover parent?
That's a great question. What daughters ever fully, totally respect their mothers? I'm not sure, because I think right now they're still young enough where I still hold the key, like all power and knowledge is mine. But they're going to start to learn that that's not necessarily the case. But in all seriousness, I do think it's important, especially when you're raising kids, to let them know you're not perfect. Mm-hmm. There are so many times when they ask me a question and I say, you know what, honey, I don't know the answer.
Let's look that up.
Let's look it up. Or, you know what, mommy was wrong and you were right. I didn't necessarily handle that the best way. And, thank you for teaching me, because my kids teach me as much as I teach them.
We, my son had a tricycle, and we had it parked in front of our brownstone, and someone stole it. And we went to the playground, and it was there. And he was like, "That's the tricycle." And I was like, "No, it's not. I mean, this is, a million kids have the same one." And he was like, "No, the bell was broken. Remember, blah blah blah."
Wow.
And he ended up being completely right. And to this day, this was 2 years ago. He still reminds me. He's like, "See, I told you I was right." And I was like, "You absolutely were.
You were.
You were.
Sorry,
I
honey.
screwed up, sorry. Like, I should have listened to a 2-year-old. What do I know? So.
Yep. And he'll never let you forget it either.
Oh, ever. When I'm like, I'm your mom, you have to listen to me. He was like, you mean like the time at the playground with the tricycle? And I was like not that time, but every other time.
But every other
time you will be listening to me. Do you guys have a family routine? Like, do you have Sunday dinner, Monday dinner every night?
Well, it's very important for both my husband and I, because we travel a lot, as much as we can, to be there to put the kids down at night. And we cuddle our kids to sleep. And, it was funny to learn to me that not every parent does this, actually. Because
All three of them?
All three of them. So it's, half hour. It's, but it's my most precious time with them. And we ask, what was the peak and the pit of your day? Because you want to know the best part and the worst part as they see it. Because you also, they don't always talk about what happened in their day. So what's the best way to get them to talk about it? It's
when they're falling asleep and their defenses are down.
Yeah, and to give them, something to play off of. But, so that's definitely precious time. Making breakfast in the morning. And I am probably the world's best chocolate chip pancake maker. Simply because it's like Malcolm Gladwell's, 15,000 hours. I have so much experience making chocolate chip pancakes. And my shapes are even not so bad, like, hearts and pumpkins. I can do some. But they are excellent. They are perfectly fluffy and just the way my kids like them. So I can take credit for that. I'm definitely proud of my pancakes.
Triple
Dinner,
H.
maybe not so much.
Who makes it? You were the hubby.
What, dinner?
Yeah.
We have someone help us. Someone else makes dinner for us, which is
that's
very,
the way to go.
very helpful, yes. And I will tell a quick story on my husband and I. So we were redoing our garage. My husband, Triple H, is also a huge WWE superstar and an executive in our company, and the person responsible for the whole NXT brand and our performance center and all of that good stuff. So we were redoing our garage, and the person who was helping us said, over here in this section, we're going to have for your tools. And I started to laugh. right? Because he's not a handyman by any stretch of the imagination. And he looked at me and he goes, well, I don't know what you're laughing at. There are pots and pans in the kitchen. And I was like, ooh, that's a good one. That one hurt a little bit, but yeah. That was a good one.
That was. And then did you guys like brawl?
No. No.
I mean, if I was...
I let him have that one. He clearly won that one.
What is the best advice you've ever gotten professionally?
Professionally, I've gotten so much good advice. I think one of my father, who is also the chairman and CEO of WWE, Vince McMahon. Thank you. Who just had his 70th birthday, by the way. Yes. And at 69 was on the cover of Muscle and Fitness. Like, unbelievable person. But his mantra really is to treat each day like it's the first day on the job. You know, challenge the status quo. Look at things differently. You know, come in with a fresh mind and a fresh perspective as much as you possibly can. And that has been very valuable advice. A lot of times we get stuck or mired down in the way we think things are supposed to be done. And I think especially in today's day and age, there are so many fresh, young, creative minds coming from all over the place. And they ask a simple question and you go, oh yeah, why don't we do it that way? That's so much better.
God, your dad is amazing. Like,
Yes,
I mean, to stay that engaged and that fit.
He's amazing in many, many ways. I mean, my father is, he grew up in abject poverty. He had no running water. He always talks about how the outhouse in North Carolina, he didn't know if it was worse in the winter or the summer, and you can use your own imagination for why that may be. And he said then he moved uptown into an 8-foot wide trailer because it did have running water and plumbing and all that good stuff. My dad really lived the American dream, and coming from humble beginnings to creating a global empire because of his vision and because of his drive and never giving up and accepting, mistakes and failures and learning from them. I think that is a really big part of growth. And oftentimes people see it as setbacks, and that's not what it is. You have to learn. It's a learning opportunity. Why did it fail? What went wrong? What could I have done differently? And then apply that knowledge. My dad also always says, intelligence is the application of knowledge. And I completely agree with that.
And you're absolutely right, because, from my point of view, I worked in a magazine years ago, and an editor came in and just fired everyone. And I remember just being in bed and so depressed, and my career has done so well since then. I want to write this woman a thank you note.
Right.
But at the time, it was like, well, there's no point in even getting up in the morning.
Yeah.
How shall I survive? So, yeah. Did you always know you were going to join what was then WWF?
I always wanted to be a part of the family business. It's just what I loved. It's what my family was passionate about. It's what I became passionate about. I used to watch my dad all the time as an announcer, and he then broke out into his character role as the evil Mr. McMahon a little bit later, but I remember sitting and listening. Of course, at the dinner table, it was always about business, but where I really gravitated to were the creative meetings. And he would sit with his team, which was very small at the time, and I would just go and sit in there, and I'd be like the gopher. Anybody need coffee? Do you want a sandwich? Just so I could listen, because it was so intricate and so amazing, the storytelling and the process of, at that time, if you're, I could go into the whole business of our business, but if you consider the fact that, call it a movie, right? And you're running the same movie in 3 different towns, and you expect people to pay to come see the movie, but they're in such close proximity that you've got to make little tweaks and changes to it to keep people intrigued so that it's not the same thing over and over again. And doing that for what is now 320 live events, around the world is pretty incredible.
And I do have to say, you guys could teach other sports organizations a few lessons about how to respond to, without going into specifics, when some of your members do things that are inappropriate. I feel like you guys have a very good response. E.g., bye-bye. Fida Zane, don't let the door hit
In many
ya.
cases, we have a
Yeah.
no tolerance policy.
Yes, which, is pretty unique and pretty great.
Thanks.
And we're right at the audience Q&A component of this throwdown, so.
All right.
Hi, Stephanie. Good morning. Thanks for being here. First of all, congratulations on all your work with Connor's Cure, the Be a Star campaign, Susan G. Komen. The amount of work you guys put into just doing good things for people off the cameras are really great. My question for you, being a lifelong super fan, talking about being creative, how does one transition from that to working in your organization? Especially on the broadcasting end.
Such as you're looking for a job?
To be honest,
I think.
to be honest, like even scrubbing the floors in Titan Towers would be something I'd be
We
willing
have a
to
human
do.
resources department.
Yeah.
So just go ahead and submit your resume. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, for sure. No, just love the WWE.
Thanks,
you. Steph.
Thank you.
Hi, Stephanie. Well, as an aspiring WWE interviewer, different, but I was going to wonder, will we see more opportunities and competition similar to Tough Enough and Diva Search and, Totino's Bold comeback for people like myself and the other gentlemen over there who actually want to work for the WWE? Thank you.
Absolutely, and right now on the network, we are in the process of recording a new show called Breaking Ground, which is most akin to Hard Knocks if you've, watched that with the NFL. We're really excited about it, and it is not necessarily a competition reality show, but it is a look at, what happens and what goes on when you're trying to make it and all the trials and tribulations, and it's a very different look and feel than we've ever really done for WWE in the past. We're really excited about it.
Do you, I guess, who is your, backtrack, okay, that was sorry for the terrible grammar. When you have an idea, who's the first person that you run it by that's like your most trusted ear, if you will, that'll tell you, you know what, Steph, this sucks or this is incredible?
Triple H.
Oh, wait.
My husband.
No, I'm kidding.
But I really do have that
Yeah.
advantage. I mean, I would say, it really depends on the idea. If it's a marketing-based idea, I would go to our EVP of marketing or our chief marketing officer. If it's a creative idea, I'd run it by the creative team. But usually my first line of
like if you have an idea for a show, you would say, hey, listen, what do you think? And he's like,
absolutely.
Great,
He's
or-
definitely my sounding board for sure, as I am for him in a lot of cases.
How you doing? Nice to meet you. I'm kind of nervous. Queen of Heels. I'm not worthy. This is more of a social media question. A couple of years ago,
Will you hold up the mic up a little bit?
Sorry, you're right. A couple of years ago, you guys did the whole Fandangoing, but I kind of feel like you guys missed the whole RKO out of nowhere, and now the John Cena thing. Why haven't you guys incorporated that, and why haven't you guys really work with YouTubers and Viners to do that with episodes on Raw and talk more about that? And I think that would be really great for you guys to intertwine the whole Vine and YouTube as we see it's getting bigger, and WWEs keep getting bigger. I think that would be really great for you guys to team up with them and do more stuff with that, because I think the RKO out of nowhere was something great, but I feel like you guys
The
really
meme,
missed
you
it.
mean?
A lot of the Vine, a lot of videos I saw, people would just do RKOs, and it was really great. And I just feel like I wish they were you guys would have showed it on Raw, like how you did the whole Fandango, and it was great. I wish I wanted to see that,
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay.
Wait, is John Cena that ripped in real life?
Yes, John
He is?
Cena is. He looks just like he does on TV.
Like when I saw him in Trainwreck, I was like, oh.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard it's awesome. I really want to see it.
He's literally.
I don't know how I feel though, because they say you can see his butt in it,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then I
yeah,
might
yeah.
be weirded
Yeah,
out
yeah,
to talk to
yeah.
him. I don't know.
Well, maybe go to the bathroom during that part.
Yeah,
Just-
but I won't know
yeah.
it's coming, and I'll
Oh no,
too
you'll
late.
know. You'll know.
Okay.
Trust
All right.
me.
Okay.
I think we have time for one more question. Something that's not about getting a job at the WWE.
Oh, okay. Just kidding. Could you actually talk to us more about the Diva Revolution and kind of your goals with that?
Absolutely, and I think we're just getting started with the Divas Revolution. We've got a long, long ways to grow with that. And what it is basically is the movement where we are now, as a company, recognizing our women and their ability to perform on an athletic level more than we ever have in the past. And it was an opportunity for my character at the time to talk about something I really believe in, which is the movement that's being led not only in boardrooms, but especially in terms of athletics. When you do have Ronda Rousey, you do have Serena Williams, the U.S. women's soccer team garnered higher ratings for Fox than any other soccer game, men's or women's. And that's awesome. And people want to see it. And that's the thing, too, is our audience is telling us. And talking about NXT, again, what has become really our third brand, for the first time ever in WWE history, the women's match was the main event of our special. And boy, did it over-deliver. And I'm telling you, the guys couldn't follow it. And it was just, it's amazing because it's about telling a story. I mean, what's incredible about what we do and what our brand does is, it's not just athleticism. It's not just, who's going to win this match. It's about the story you tell in the ring. It's, the facial expressions you make and the way you execute the moves and how you react, because you want to suck the audience in. You want them to stand on their feet and shock and awe of what's going to happen, or be sitting there with biting their fingernails. Oh my God, I can't believe this, or disappointment when someone doesn't actually win the match or get the cover that you think. It's telling a story, and that's how you engage the audience. Whether you're a woman or a man, you should be able to do that. And our women are being given a platform like never before, and we have some of the most talented women in the world, in any genre, and it's very exciting. I'm very proud to be a part of it.
How times have changed, right?
What's that?
I said how times have changed. We're about the same age, and I remember watching WWE in high school or middle school, and there were it was just guys. And look at it now. It's amazing.
That's right.
It's pretty cool.
And when you
Girl
hear
power.
the stories, yes, and of course I'm just going to take as much time as I can because, Sasha Banks and Bayley, who are the two women who just competed in that main event on NXT, and you hear their backstories. I mean, they've wanted to do this their whole lives. They wrote essays about it as students, as they were growing up, as they were little kids. That's what they wanted to be. And they didn't want to be like the women at that time. They wanted to be like the guys.
Yeah.
And their goal is to be the main event at WrestleMania. And I see no reason why we can't ultimately get there.
Yeah. Especially if the ratings back it up, which they do.
That's right.
So.
And it's all because of our fans, and they're the ones who are telling the decision makers, look, this is what we want.
And that is a great note to end this lovely, amazing Q&A on. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.